one, then we start what's it called with it, our revision. So by picking each of the questions, then we'll be able to explain. So each topic we come across in each of the questions, we explain. So at the end of the day, we'll be able to explain more topics. Like I said, by the end of that year, we will have touched virtually all the topics, if not all. I'm very sure we'll be able to touch like 90% of the topics instead of just running through everything from the beginning, which you don't have time, you have limited time, like I said. You only have 3 periods for this week, another 3 periods for next week. So at the end of that 3 periods, what happens? At the end of that 6 periods, we cannot cover. Imagine what you have done for 9 weeks in GS1, 9 weeks in GS2, and 6 weeks in GS3, and months rather, 9 months in GS1, 9 months in GS2, and 6 months in GS3. That's how many months? That's about 24 months. So you can say that we cannot cover what you have done in 24 months in just what? 6 periods, which is less than 6 hours. So that's what we're going to bring out the last one. So let's pick the recent year, which is what? 2019. Let us pick the recent year, which is what? 2019. So open your last one. So as we read, we'll explain the what? The topics that comes with it. 2019. Business study 2019. What of this one? Okay. Yeah, let's start. Please. Are we good to go? You don't have one? What's good now? You come. Share with her. What else is now? You have 2 there. You have let me have to share one. What's so special about the book that you want to use it? Or there are things written there. Okay, let's start. The first question here is what? A sole proprietorship form of business has the following features, except what do you understand by sole proprietorship? Sole proprietorship is what? One man business. What do you mean by one man business? That means a single person coming up with an idea of a business and starting up that business. You can just wake up today and think of, oh, I want to start a maybe pure water producing. You want to start producing pure water or bottled water. Then you open your company. If you have the money, you buy the equipment, you buy everything. You have what it takes to start, and you start. You can wake up and decide to start selling cake. I know people like cakes or things that goes into the mouth and fashion. These are things they like most. They like food, they like fashion. So you can think of, oh, I want to open a boutique. So let me, you understand? Okay, I want to open a boutique. I want to start selling clothes. It's just an individual, whatever. You can start as long as you have the resources to start. You can just open up a store and you start to sell whatever thing you want to do. So that's the sole proprietorship. So a sole proprietorship, what happens? That is a one-man business. It's just a single person. You provide what? That single person provides the what? Capital for that business. That's part of the features of what? Sole proprietorship. You what? The single person provides what? The capital to run the business. Then the single person make decision. That means you decide on what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. That same person what? Equally share the risk or the profit. That means in the advent of what? Profit. He alone enjoys the profit. And if it to be the other one, which is what? Maybe loss. He bears the loss alone. He has what? High level of what? Secrecy. That means what? You don't need to share anything with anybody. You decide what you want, how you want it, and how you want it to go. So you don't need anybody, or you don't need to share your idea with anybody. So those are one of the few of the features of what? Sole proprietorship. So, and part of the disadvantages, it has what? Unlimited liability. What do you mean by unlimited liability? That is in case of what? Loss. You will not only lose what you have invested in the business, you equally what? You can equally go as far as what? Losing your what? Personal properties, personal belongings. You know, there's in business or in real life, there should be different between there should be what? Different between the business and yourself. Like I have a home that I stay, and I have a business somewhere else. For the fact that you are a sole proprietorship, if that business should crumble, people can come to your personal house and retrieve some of your what? Belongings just to pay up the debt. That's what we mean by what? Unlimited what? Liability. That is even your personal belongings in case of loss or whatsoever. Your personal belongings can equally be taken or sold or whatsoever to what? To pay up your debt. So that is in that case. So let's quickly go. So here we have what the sole proprietorship form of business has the following features, except that it what? Somebody say it requires a huge capital to set up. Mostly it requires just little capital to set up. But that's part of the features of what? Sole proprietorship. It has what? It requires little capital to set up. I was expecting you to ask what of Dangote? He has a refinery. Does it require little to set up a refinery? No, huge capital. But when you are talking, you said most times it requires little. Look at your street. How many abokis do you have? I don't know, maybe you live on the street whereby abokis are allowed to bring out their kiosks and start selling. That's a form of sole proprietorship. When you go on the street, when you go to market, look at their numbers, run into millions. So Dangote is just like 0.0001% of them. So mostly, sole proprietorship business requires what? Little capital to what? To start up with. So that's why the answer here is what? Is E. That means for the person at home, we are treating 2019, and that's the first question. The answer there is what? E. Then the second question. The question second. Any specified rate of interest? Are we together? Number 2. Any specified rate of interest higher than the interest on savings account is one of the features of. Let's quickly talk about now. We are talking about what interest. We are talking of. Let's quickly talk about bank. The Apex Bank and the commercial banks. We are going to be limiting ourselves to what? To the Apex Bank and the what? Commercial bank. Though we have other banks as well. We have the mortgage bank. The mortgage bank deals with what? Say it now. You said house now. We are talking of what? Properties. We have the what? We have the agricultural banks that deals with what? Anything that has to do with agriculture, where farmers can go to get loan or provide them with what? Funds to what? Get tractor and other things like that. Then we have industrial banks where industries go to, as long as you know there will be criteria for all those things. As long as it's an industry whereby you are producing, you can go to that bank. We have industrial banks, we have agricultural banks, we have different forms of banks, but mostly we are going to be limiting this one to what? Just the what? The CBN, which is the Apex Bank, and what? Commercial bank. The commercial bank. So the Apex Bank, which is the CBN, can you define it? Can somebody just tell me one or two things about the Apex Bank? That's it.
Apex Bank the bank that distributes money to other banks.
That what?
Distributes money.
That distributes money. How? They just wake up and start distributing money. Other banks will come and start distributing. Is the highest bank in the country, and it's just what? One. You only have one of it in the whole country. CBN is only one in the whole country. Each country has just one CBN. Unlike what commercial banks that we have many of them. You have intervention, Zenith Bank, BT Bank, Access Bank, Wema Bank, Union Bank, and the like. That is commercial bank. But for CBN, we have just one in the country, and it is called the Apex Bank. It is the government bank. It is the government bank. Somebody asked one time, and I was expecting you to ask, and you said, CBN is just one in the country, but we will see in Lagos, we will see in Abuja, we will see in other states, Delta and the likes, other states like that. That is just what? Branches. As in, it's still one, just that each state has at least one branch. The headquarters will be in Abuja now, formerly in Lagos, but since the federal capital moved to Abuja, that was in 1994. Before, Lagos State happens to be the what? Federal capital territory. Before, Lagos State was, but I think in 94, it was moved to Abuja. So all headquarters moved to Abuja. All headquarters moved to Abuja. So that's where you have the headquarters of what? CBN. So that the government bank, that means they what? They act as what? Financial regulatory body. Financial what? Regulatory body. What do you mean by regulatory body? That means they make laws, rules, and laws that guide what? Financial activities in the what? In the country. Guiding not only the commercial bank, even the government. They make laws and the likes that guide what? Financial activities in the country. The Apex Bank, I'm explaining the Apex Bank now. That is the CBN. Then what? As in, it is called government bank. I said, but it is called government bank. They what? They regulate other banks, other banks as well. They serve as regulatory body to other banks. They serve as financial advisory to the government or the country, and many others like that. And the CBN or the commercial banks on the other hand is what? They accept deposits from the what? From the public for safekeeping. That is, commercial bank is where you can keep your money and other valuables, not just money. You can keep other valuable items there. Do you know that? It's there the definition, but maybe you didn't. It is where you can keep your money and other valuables, not just money you keep inside you keep in the bank. Your jewelries, you can take it there. Your most expensive jewelries, you can okay, this very expensive, and I don't want it stolen or anything. You can take it to the bank and they're going to keep it for you. Sometimes parents finish maybe writing their wills, and they don't want you to keep it where people will see it, or they can take it to the bank and keep it there. So there are other valuables that you can take to the bank, and the bank will accept and keep from you. Sit up. That the banks will definitely keep for you. So it's where you keep money and other valuable items. So that is that. Then they accept as part of their own functions, but they accept deposit from what? From the public for safety. They what? They give out loan. Yes or yes? They give out loan to individuals. They what? They print money. No, they don't print money. It's only the CBN that has the power to what? To what? You said what? Meat is another one. What's the meaning of meat? That's the body that prints money. This is the body that prints money. That's why sometimes when you see new money, you say meat. Meat is just the name of the what that prints money. And that's why you see sometimes when you are with new cash, people say meat, I want meat. But is the printing company in charge of it that is called meat. So you understand. So that is that about that. So that's some of the functions of what commercial banks. Then let's quickly talk about what the account. We are going to limit ourselves to 3 types of account, which is what savings, current, and what fixed deposit. There are a lot of deposit kits, this, that. If you go to bank now, they will almost kill you with different types of an account or different types of accounts. Open this for the kids, open this for yourself, open this for your business, open this for that. But the 3 major types are what? Savings, current, and what? Fixed. And what do you understand by fixed and by savings? Savings is just what? A system trying to encourage people to what? An act of what? Savings, act of keeping your money. You take your money there, that means you can go there, keep your money and things like that. And it comes at the end of the day with what? With interest. It comes with what? Interest. That means at the end of the day, at the end of the month or whatsoever, they calculate some interest. That's why trying to encourage you to keep money with them. Then what of current account? Current account is the one that what? That allows you to make your check. And it comes with charges. That means they charge you more on what? On current account. Current account, for every leave of check that you present, there's certain amount that is being deducted from your account. You pay for maybe 5 naira or so for leave of check that you issue out. You pay for it. For every 1,000, there's an amount that is being charged on every 1,000 that you withdraw or people withdraw from your account and all those things. So even current account comes with what? More charges. And doesn't come with interest. It comes with more charges. Unlike savings. Savings still come with some charges. But yet, at the end of the day, you are liable or you are still going to get some interest on it, some interest on your capital. But on current account, you pay, hey, move to this seat so I can see. Move to this one. Behind there. Move. Move there. So that is that. You are even what? You even pay your, and for current account holder, you are allowed to, you are giving something called overdraft. What do you mean by overdraft? Can anybody explain overdraft? Overdraft. Overdraft. Sorry, I called them. Obia.
Overdraft is the extra money they are allowed to pay, they are allowed to collect along with money in your account.
That means allow you to draw more than what you have in your account. Allow you to draw more than what to withdraw more than what you have in your account. That's kind of whatever is given to what only current account holder. Like you're having 10,000 naira and you need like 13,000 naira. You can apply for it. You'll be allowed to withdraw that 13,000. The extra 3,000 naira is what we refer to as overdraft, allowing you to withdraw more than what you have in your account. That kind of whatever is given to what only current account holder. Don't think you just go and open an account today and next week you want to withdraw more than what you have. It's not always like that. Though. It will have been a system whereby you are a regular customer and they know your worth, but they are not stupid as well. People could just go and open and every week you open with this bank, you withdraw and go. You know Nigerians now are very cunning or very smart when it comes to tapping into cheating or tapping into or loopholes of rules and regulations. Because most of these laws, they always have their, what's it called? There are maybe exceptional cases, but Nigerians are very good at tapping that into that exceptional cases. So it's not like that, but at least you'll have had some record with them that okay, a good customer, maybe salary account, and many other things. So allow you to withdraw more than what you have in your account. So that's for current account. Then what is fixed? Fixed is what? Keeping your money for what? Certain period of time. Without what? Without touching, without withdrawing. And this comes with what? Higher interest. This comes with higher interest. The fixed is what? Keeping your money for certain period of time. Agreed certain period of time, because you have agreed with the bank that okay, I want to keep this for 3 months and I'm not going to touch it. I want to keep this for 6 months, I'm not going to touch it. I think mostly it comes in 3 months. Not that you cannot, but mostly it comes in quarters. And each quarter is what? 3 months. Sometimes it comes in quarters. So okay, I want to keep for 3 months, and for this 3 months, I'm not going to touch this money or whatever. So that kind of money, you know, it is very why it's just a common logic thing, just common reason. Because a saving, as somebody running a saving account, you can come at any time to withdraw your money, and that's why it comes with little interest. Current, okay, you are the one that even doing your favor, because most of the time, because they are running a current account, we can pay on your behalf, we can do it, that means they are even working for you. That's just the difference. And that's why they are charging more on what. When somebody comes with a check, a saving, if you are running a saving account now, you can only withdraw by yourself most times. You can only withdraw by yourself. That means you are coming to do the activities yourself. But if I'm running, if I'm having a current account now, that means I can even issue a check to another person. That means I'm sending the bank to pay that person. It's like I'm sending the bank to carry out some activities on my behalf, and that's why they charge more on the current account. But on fixed now, this money, take it. For the next 1 year, I'm not going to request for it. So they can do any business with it. And that's why it comes with higher, whatever, because they are sure of this money. Nobody is coming for this money. So they can put it here, put it there, put there, and nothing will. Unlike savings and current account that you can come for your money at any time. So fixed deposit comes with what? Higher interest. So we've been able to explain at least banks now, CBN and banks now. So the second question that we read, any specified rate. Any specified rate of interest higher than the interest on savings account is the one of the features of what? Fixed deposit. The answer is what? Fixed deposit. Then the third one of the importance of transportation. What is transportation? Movement of human goods and services from one place to what? Another. That's transportation. So here now, one of the importance of transportation is what? Creating awareness about products, discouraging trader against indebtedness. No. Then indemnifying trader against risk. Indemnifying is talking about what? Insurance. That means what? Indemnifying is what? Replacing or putting the what? The insurer back to the position he or she was before the accident. If you have a car and the car got stolen or accident or something like that, that means they are going to provide you that kind of car back where you were before the accident. Not that I own a 10 million car and that 10 million car is depreciated to like 6 million and got stolen and you expect them to buy a 10 million car. They will want to measure it if they have a way of doing it and things like that, and they are going to take it back to them. That's what indemnifying means. That means verifying trader against risk. Helping in complaints, in comparing the quantity of products. No, transportation doesn't compare, it's only moves. Then the last one, providing employment opportunity for the people. Yes, it's another form of what? Employment. All these drivers, all these conductors, all the like, is another form of what? Employment. So the answer there is what? E. That's the best answer there. Then number 4, the Nigerian Customs Services perform the following functions except custom service. You must have, I think we have friends that are custom officers. We know people that are, what do you do? You must have been seeing them now. Mostly when you get custom, you limit it to cars. Or to rice, importation of rice. No, customs are at the border. They are the what? Officers at the border that check what is coming in and what is equally what? Going out. That means importation and what? Exportation. They check what is coming in. That is what? Importation, and what is to be taken out, which we got exportation. So that is that. So some of the activities. So here they now said the following except generating revenue for the what? For the government. They do that in the process of what? Trying to, because when you bring in goods, there are certain amounts you need to pay. There are certain things you need to go through registration and every other thing, that you pay certain amount of money. At the end of the day, money realized is being paid directly into the what? Into the government account. There's something called TSA now. That means what? Single account. Hey, and all of you two move away from the wall. Move away from the wall. Sit. Yes, move away from the wall. Sit properly and move away from the wall. So that is that. Generating income. They generate income since the beginning of Buhari administration. I think among the agencies, custom has been the highest income, what's it called, that are generating the highest income to the government now. I think in a month, was it in a month or 3 months, they generated 1 billion naira. Is it in a month or in 3 months? They generated something of that, very huge. And before that is, this country is very, very, is something else. Look at before this present administration, JAMB has been created maybe 1980 something. Some is in how many years they have generated 50 million, and in a year when Buhari came in, that he got trusted and they generated billions, almost 7 billion in a year. So imagine the excess in the past. You understand? So the same thing with custom. The previous DGs have been, I think, for the what they generate in years have been generated in 1 month now, because Nigeria mostly, we are more or less a consuming country. We don't produce, so we depend so much on what? foreign products, foreign goods. Just now that they're encouraging what? Local production of rice and some other things. And most of us too, when we want to buy, when we go to market, we prefer buying Italian shoes, buying foreign Swiss lace, buying this. If we want this country to develop, we need to pay more attention to goods produced within the country. Because let me tell you, you are creating employment. If I buy, hey, let's quickly move discuss some other things. Do you know when you are buying foreign products, you are creating more employment for them at the expense of what? Our own citizens. How? If something is produced for, let me assume something is being sold for 10 naira or something is being sold for 10,000 naira. You think, oh, I paid the Nigerian now, I paid him 10,000 naira, but maybe his own gain out of the whole 10,000 naira is just 1,000. Maybe the product cost 8,000 naira and 1,000 naira was spent on transportation from the country. You know, per head, you don't look at it as one. Maybe per head is just 500 and this 200 and this everything is 1,000. The person that bought it from there paid 8,000 naira and he paid the government or whatsoever 1,000. The remaining 1,000 naira is what is remaining for just the person as gain. The remaining 8,000 naira is what? Going back to that was country of produce. So they have more money to what? To produce more, to create employment and things like that. So most times you look at it as foreign things, but I'm paid here and I'm paying Yalabaja, I'm paying Miss Labaja for this foreign good. So he or she has the money. So no, because that person must have paid for that goods before. So maybe his own gain is just 1,000 or most times even less, maybe 500, 200 sometimes from those goods. So we should pay more attention to what locally produced goods. Yeah. Though the complaint in the past has been what? Quality. Yeah, the quality of those goods are not this and not that. Look at rice now. We are complaining that foreign rice. Look at what happened in China. If you are being told to eat China rice now, you will be scared because you will look at maybe Corona will just come with the rice and things like that. So thank God that we started the production of rice before the advent of Corona. And we hope other aspects too. Will pick up. Don't sleep. You want to sleep, don't sleep. I pick every word you speak. If you don't know, I'm telling you now. You want to sleep, and I'm telling you, don't sleep. If you sleep, I'm going to deal with you. So let's continue. The Nigeria Customs Services perform the following function except 1. Generate revenue for the government. Yes, they do that. Furnish citizens with adequate information. Yes, they do that. Many times they come online, they advertise, they tell you why you should consume this, why you should not consume this, why you should use this, why you should use a particular product, and why you should not use a particular product. They equally do that in what? Giving information to the people. The next one, restricting the what? Exportation of local manufactured goods. Yes. Preventing what? The importation of banned goods. They equally do that. They prevent what? Because people are so, especially the business people, God forgive me, they are always hell-bent on making money, even at all costs. Now, I can't hear you. That's what I'm saying now, that ban this, we are just on ban whatever. Now, ban products means that such goods are not allowed to come in. And there are a lot of reasons for that. Not only some of them are bad, sometimes when you need to grow your own companies, when you need to grow your own industry, your own country, sometimes you need to place ban. Look at all these 5 Asian countries. When you get to senior class, you are going to be doing Asian tigers. What do you mean by Asian tigers? These are Singapore, Thailand, China and the likes. Most of them are third world countries before. They just came and became world power these days. How? They shut their doors to foreign companies or whatsoever, and they started to develop from within. Like we said, this rice you made mention of now. Do you know people are, especially if you go to the north, people that are really into rice farming now, they are millionaires now. But because of the importation before, okay, let me tell you a very little one. When we were growing up, candle. Now we don't use candle again. Most of us use lamp. So we don't know when light goes up, you put on your lamp maybe before you put on your jet or sometimes. Let me tell you, there's something called China candle, or there's something in business which the foreigners used to do, most especially this China and foreign companies. They turn your country to a dumping ground. How they turn it to a dumping ground? Even when such product is being produced in your country, do you know what they will first of all do? They will bring it at what? Price below the market price. That means if a company is producing it in Nigeria and it costs that company like 9,500 to produce a particular item, definitely they want to make gain. Let's assume they are selling 10,000 naira. They can bring that goods and sell it 6,000-7,000 naira. And before you know it, people will now abandon that Nigerian made, that locally made product and be buying foreign goods. As a producer, you produce, you are unable to sell at dollar, you are unable to sell. What happens at the end of the day? You close up. You are unable to, you'll be able to produce again. So before you know it, you close up. So by the time all those companies close up, what happens? They jack their own price up. They jack their own price up. They might not be selling 12, 13,000, even above what the local companies are formally selling it. You understand? But at the end of the day, there won't be any competitor again because those companies will have closed down. But by the time those companies close down, what happens? They are faced with a lot of challenges. High level of unemployment, high level of what? Crime. What happens? Many people, poverty level increases and the likes. Because when you are working, you don't pray for. Just as if somebody working before that could feed the family and children, suddenly the company will not produce again. That person comes to the labor. What happens? The person not able to pay. If he is the refugee, talk of the family, pay out rent and things like that. And before you do it, when you are not employed, when no income is what happens, people take to crime, the poverty level increases, and many other things. So by something like I explained before, all this money that you are paying is going back to their what? To their country. So your own country will be left undeveloped. And that has been the clamor since that let's face Nigerian products. Many of us we buy foreign goods and that money is going back. That's why we are always depending. We are always depending on what these foreign countries. So that's that. So banning. So some goods, as in banning of goods, might be two reasons. Might come as a result of two reasons. One, maybe because you want to develop your own, or sometimes you find that product unfit or not good for consumption. The former Minister of Agriculture said that most of these rice are kept in their store for a very long time. So when new ones are produced, they now bring out the old ones. Or even bringing it, those rice spend months sometimes before it gets here. So at the end of the day, it will have lost what? The quality. So most of the time, according to what the former Minister of Agriculture said, that so most of the time, even custom DG too said it, that most of those rice are not good enough for consumption as a result of that because they have stayed in the store. So most of the time when we eat it, we just feel nothing happened, but we are dying gradually. No, that's it now. See, okay, let me compare one thing. Do you know in the past, in the oldies, our grandparents lived as much as 100 plus, very active. But most people now, look at the age at which people die these days. Our life expectancy is just little above 50. Some of them actually, that has been the goal of protection literally, because even sometimes they seize it and you still give it to IDPs, the internally displayed camps, you give it to them. You say this rice is not good for us and you are giving it to people. Even during COVID-19, it was part of the rice distributed as palliative so that is government for you, but most of the time they said it's not too good that we should eat more of locally produced, and that one you eat lot of stones. So let us continue. Collection of tax, they equally collect form of tax on what goods and services. So the answer here is what? C. Restricting what? Hey, the answer here for number 4 is what? Restricting the what? The exportation of locally manufactured. They don't. I think as much as it is of standard, it's not banned. Why should they stop it? So they don't have the power to stop. So the answer is what? C. Question 5. Can somebody read question 5?
And if you use quality that makes a person to be upright and straightforward in his business dealings
An inbuilt quality that makes a person to be upright and straightforward in his business dealings without being mindful of the consequence explains what? It is truthfulness. If you talk of dishonesty, you have the options there. You have dishonesty. What is dishonesty? Someone that tells lies. That let me put this for you. Maybe I don't know if you had your parents discussing with other people, and they just said that Aladaja said this. They say, you know that person is a perpetual liar. Mommy, or somebody else go, okay, this guy said this will be ready tomorrow. So, he told you. Forget that, because that person is a dishonest person, a perpetual liar. So that's what we mean. So that person cannot be more straightforward. Then hardworking, yes? Sir, I told you not to rest on the wall. Two of you. Yes. If you have lied once. Nobody just answered. Now don't lie at all. Don't lie at all. Do you hear that? Farida, don't lie at all. So you should not lie at all. So, but some people are perpetual liars, in lie telling, what's it called? They are just, it is just in their blood. You know, sometimes that person wants to tell the truth, but unconsciously or consciously, lies will just come with it. So we are to discourage of that. So that's dishonesty. Then hardworking person, that's somebody that is what? Diligent. You always find him at his workplace doing the right thing at the right time. But somebody could be hardworking and still be a liar. It's possible. Somebody can still be hardworking and still be a liar. It's possible. You always meet him at his shop. He's always there 6 a.m. and doesn't leave until 8 p.m. and it's this, that. But when you ask him for goods that he or she doesn't have, instead of him just to say, I don't have, he will tell you, I have it in the other shop. Just bring money. I'll bring it to your house. And 1 week, 2 weeks, you have not seen it. But you said it's in the other shop. Yes. When I check, it's coming. That person is hardworking and is still what? So then we talk about obedience, following the rules and what? Regulation. We talk of Bakari. If you are talking of what? If you are talking of what? Obedience. That means what? Somebody that follows the rules and regulation. Understanding is what? To comprehend. As we are discussing, you are able to comprehend what we are discussing. You are able to understand and to know what we are doing. Then the last one is what? Truthfulness. It is that truthfulness that keeps you what? Away from what? Lies and what? Being straightforward. So that's the answer then is what? Truthfulness. Truthfulness. So number 6. Number 6. Products that need physical demonstration. Products that need physical demonstration can be advertised through the use of what? Television. We have billboard. There's somebody asked, billboard. I said billboard. How many times do you stand to
electric billboard?
Even electric that you stand to watch, except you're in traffic, that you just decide that I like this advert and you stay and watch it from beginning to end. You don't have time. So, but most times when you are watching a program or something, you see that you can watch adverts and from there you can, so this product is actually meant for this or it's like this, so this is how we can use it. So the next one, the following are means of advertising goods and services except. The following are means of what? Advertising goods and services except. We have billboards, we have handbills, we have internet, we have newspapers, and we have what? 9 posts. What? Nine post. What is nine post? Do you know the function of? Do you know the function of nine post? But many of you see that is the truth. They post letters, but now, how many of you post letters these days? Many of you are carried away with your gadget, your system. You have internet, so if you want to send anything, you just sit, you open your mail, you send it to another person's mail. That's all. When we were kids then, there was nothing like phone. So if you need to communicate with somebody, even in Ibadan, if you need to communicate with somebody in Ibadan, either you write a letter, maybe when you see somebody going to Ibadan, you hand the letter to that person. Please let me give it to auntie so, brother so, uncle so. Maybe you have a brother schooling in UI and you want to send a message to him that, okay, I miss you, but just this. The family is okay, but just to check on you and things like that. You write everything, maybe a friend of his that is going back, or sometimes you need to go to NIPOST. Either you do that or you go to NIPOST. What happens in NIPOST? You put the address of the receiver and you buy a certain, stamp, different prices for different, depending on the distance you are going. Then they take it there for you. So that's the function of NIPOST.
And for the like someone said that maybe you write the data
No, I do. Yes, depending, yes. And letters are not now. You send message and that person gets it almost immediately. Then, no, like we just said, okay, like I just said now, I think we are sending it through someone. Definitely, that person will still go to the car park, but the person might even get to Ibadan and not see your brother or your sister immediately. Maybe he or she has his own, to deal with. Maybe it might be 1-2 days. But if you have to be NIPOST, I think they are different. I think within the state, 1 or 2 days. Outside the states, within same geopolitical, maybe 3 to 4 days. Outside your geopolitical, maybe 1 week. Outside Nigeria, it has stipulated like that. Then up to now, there's people still make use of NIPOST. Have you ever ordered from Jumia? From AliExpress? Yes. If you have ordered from AliExpress, you go and get it in NIPOST. Yes, now? Yes, you can get it there in NIPOST office. Or if you can be patient, you wait for them to bring it to your house. But if you are not, as soon as you get to Nigeria, you can go to maybe the closest NIPOST that you drop as to go and get it. Maybe Abuja or something, you can get. But if not, you can wait for them to. So it still function, just that many of us don't know their function because we never made use of it or something like that. So that's the main function of what NIPOST, sending and receiving, up to send what letters and goods and services now, because they equally send goods. They help in transporting goods as well. So the one that is not used as an advert agent is NIPOST. Handbills, these are small pamphlets that you see things are being written. Handbills. She doesn't know that you don't need to specify. Handbills. Do you have any example? This could form an handbill now. If you have it, that you see, maybe when you go to ShopRite or places that are being given to people as an advert, that is what you refer to as what handbill. And they are form of what? They are form of advert. Advertising what product, at least, and every handbill given to you, they are trying to advertise something. Let us continue. The next one, the market where consumer goods are bought and sold is called the market where consumer goods and consumer goods are bought and sold is called what? Dash market. What is capital market? Capital market, money market. It's not just money market.
There's money market.
And there's money market there. Money market and capital market, they are same thing, but just with one thing that just one thing distinguished both. I mean, one is what? Capital market is what? Where you can get, where long-term loans are gotten or can be that got it from? As in, you mean what? Long capital market. Why money market is where what short-term loans are what can be given or what gotten. That is what money. Money is what for short-term. Money is for what short-term loan. While capital is what long-term loan. Short-term and what long-term. So money is what short-term loan. While capital is long-term loan. Foreign market. Foreign market mostly are called foreign exchange market. What is my foreign exchange market? Where foreign currency or currencies of different countries are being exchanged for one another. Where what currency of different countries are being exchanged for one another. Naira for dollar, dollar for pound, pound for yen, yen for euro and the like. That's what we mean by what foreign exchange market, whereby you can exchange your currency for another. Then we have what stock exchange. This is where what stocks are being sold and what bought. Shares. This is where you buy shares. You can sell your shares if you have as well. So that's what we want what stock exchange. So the only one left is what commodity market. Commodity markets are markets where what finished goods, finished products are being sold and what bought. Then that's that. Number 9. The following are factors that affect occupation except. What do you mean by occupation? Occupation. Jobs that you do to what? Earn a living. That means what you do at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, you're being paid certain amount, and from there you're able to sustain yourself and what people around you, your family and the like. That's what we mean by what? Occupation. So the question here is now what? The following are factors that affect occupation except climate change. Does climate change affect?
Yeah.
How? Can somebody explain?
The people who go to the Arctic to
Tell us to stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Last one. Stand up. So the climate change.
yes.
How climate change?
People who go to the Arctic to like discover and
Go to what?
the Arctic or like
Arctic.
Okay.
Yes, like mostly whales, those ones that live in the Arctic. So like there's climate change now and it's like breaking down the Arctic. So and whales can't live in warmer water and in warm water. So those people, whales die and they lose their jobs because they can't study the new.
That is even too far. No, but no, it's still too far. You have something to say. You want to explain climate change. How climate change affects occupation. How climate change affects occupation. Stand up and let me hear you. I asked you to stand up. Yeah, talk. Yes. Very good. Climate change. See, sometimes especially the weather now. During rainy season, what happens? We produce more of what? Raincoats, more of umbrellas. That company tends to what? Companies that produce what? Umbrellas, cardigans, tends to employ more people that time.
So, people who produce pilots in the rainy season. So if it's the rainy season and pilots want to fly the airplane, it will be
No, that doesn't affect. I don't think that affects. So that is that. During rainy season now, produce what? People produce more what? Umbrellas, raincoats, and like so. Those companies that are into production of what? Raincoats and employ more people to produce more, so that they can meet the demand of people. But during dry season, what happens? If they don't have plan B, what happens? If they don't have plan B, what happens? They lay people off. You understand? If they don't have plan B, that means during what's it called? They will not be in production because nobody will be buying their produce again. So except they have plan B that okay, maybe during this climate we produce this, when it changes to this, we change our production to this. If not, so it affects what? That we have what? Educational background. Definitely your level of education will determine the kind of work, your occupation, your level of education will determine. If you are not a learned person, you cannot be a teacher. Not that you cannot work in a school. At least we have big brass working in the school that are not educated, but at least you cannot be a teacher or some other thing. So your level of what? Your level of education affects. We have we have skills and training. Definitely the skills you have acquired, the training you have undergone will definitely determine your occupation. A tailor now cannot be given a bricklayer work. Somebody trained as a tailor cannot be told to come and build a house except you are inviting what's it called on yourself. So by the time the house collapses, you are your own. And the likes. What other thing? We have gifts of nature. Yes, the what you are blessed with will determine what you are going to do. Yes, the pleasing the customer down is out of it. So the answer here is what? D. If you are blessed with sleep. Okay, let's quickly do the 10th one. I think we don't have much time. I can't hear you. Yes, but the most odd one here is what? Pleasing the customer. Others are most correct. Then the next one, the part of the part of simple business plan that focuses on how to sell the goal of an organization is known as market analysis. What do you mean by business proposal? Having new ideas. When somebody comes with a business, that means it's coming with a what? New business ideas. So that is that one. If you talk of executive summary, that means what? Maybe the governing body of the what? Of the organization. If you talk about the financial data, you are talking of the finance, the financial what? Capability of financial information of the what? Of the company. Then if you talk about what? Legal structure, you are talking about the what? The rules and regulation that guides the what? The organization. Then when you talk about market analysis, you are talking about what? How to sell the what? The product of the company. Then 11, offering door-to-door services is one of the advantages of transportation, road transportation. You all know air, that means plane. You can only go to airplane. You can only go to airports to board a plane. You cannot just sit in front of your house or sit in your house and demand for or board plane from there. It's not possible. If you talk of pipelines will take liquid and there are specific places or designated places that they can pass through. If you talk about rail, you must have express rail before, maybe within or outside the country. You can only go to train station. Yes. But if you talk about road, you can see sometimes even in your house you order for something and they bring it to your house. Raji, I what your name? So that is that. But you can sit in your own house, order for anything and having it at your doorstep because of what? The road system. So the answer here is what? Road. Chemical transfer from one container is, are we together? Number 12, chemical transfer from one container to another must be properly dashed to give adequate information to its user. Properly labeled. That means it must be properly labeled so that somebody else will not go and drink chemical, drink acid. Because by the time you want to carry out an experiment and you take acid, maybe just say an empty bottle, you pour it inside, you change your mind on carrying out the test or the what's it called, and you left it there. Somebody just come, oh, water, let me take a cup, and pour it. That's acid you are drinking. So that's the end. So it must be properly what? Labeled. The next one, the following are business opportunities a local businessman can engage in except you have what? Construction of shopping complex to what? Meet the need of traders. Yes, if you have your money, you can decide to build. Sit down here. If you have your money, you can decide to build a complex where you sell things to people around the locality. Then another one, provision of waste disposal, you can equally do that. Then the next one, the setting up hospitals. We have private hospitals around us everywhere whereby they render services to the people. Most of us even visit more of private hospitals than government owned hospitals. So you can setting up primary and secondary schools, private schools. Yes, you see people as a local, but as a local man, you cannot what? You cannot generate and supply what? An uninterrupted electricity except with your gen. Except with your gen, solar panel or solar whatever and your inverters. But that you want to start producing electricity in large quantity to people, you cannot do it as a person. Even a state government cannot even do it. Is on exclusive list. What do you mean by exclusive list? Exclusive list, these are what? These are exclusives and things that are exclusively to the what? To the government, are strictly to the what? Federal government. Only federal government can take that responsibility. And one of it is what? Power generation and distribution. They are strictly under what? Federal government. Even states cannot produce it. Lagos State presently are producing, but they can only use it in Alausa and around Alausa. They cannot distribute it. I remember when Wike too was the governor in Rivers, he complained of the same thing, that they are able to generate, they can generate certain, but government is not giving them the power to go ahead, the free will to go ahead. So if states cannot even produce such, how come an individual will be allowed to do it? So as a local man, you are not allowed to what? Generate and supply what? Uninterrupted power. So the next one, the service provided by media organization to enable the public known about a product. The services provided by media houses making the people to know about it is what? Advertising. Is advertising now? Now? Somebody said something. The service provided by media houses to enable the public to know about a product or service is referred to as what? That means you are creating awareness, and creation of awareness is what? Through what? Through advertisements. You create awareness through what? Advertisement. Yes?
And all that you mean by an account holder to a specific amount is called
that's check now.
No, like an order given to like an order given to an account holder, like to insurance company. What would be more than insurance company?
That's if you are talking of the money paid, that's premium. That's the money you pay the insurance company, it refers to as premium. So that